No. Islam was 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, Father of the universe.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace.
Freedom.
And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
And
my salvation.
By night.
And by day. His holy prophet. Noble Jew Ali. Islam.
So, oh yeah, no, do you read?
He's more Islam. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the Prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The Prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their Prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the Prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Jew Ali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Islam. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Jew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Islam, Moors. So on deck, we got our winter solstice walk. Winter solstice walk coming up next week. Next week, Sunday. So we're not going to be at Temple next week, Sunday, which is the 18th. We have we're going to be over at the Beltline Trail, the same spot over at Young and Merton Street. Meeting time 10:30 a.m. Walk starts at 11, and the walk should be maybe an hour and a half or something like that. And again, this is just part of the Moorish Science Temple of America Education Corporation that started doing the culture acknowledgement stuff, whether it's solstices, equinox walks, and stuff like that, things of that nature. So just so that we can create some culture for ourselves, because we know everybody has their stuff. People got their Diwali, people have their Christmas and New Year's and whatever else. So it's only right that we carve out what our culture is going to be. And a big part of our culture is astrology. So recognizing the gates is something that we've been doing for the past few years. So bring your gloves and your toque and the boots and whatever, and let's bring in the winter solstice. And then of course we have Noble Drew Ali Day, January 7th, 2023, and that's going to be at the Steelworkers Union, 25 Cecil Street. And we have a PhD graduate doing their thesis that they did on Noble Drew Ali. We have a modern European coming to talk about Moorish history. We got a PhD university professor talking about Moorish history. And we have Moorish metaphysician talking about Moorish science and a lot more. That's January 7th. So we're carrying on with our Back to Basics series. Still dealing with Noble Drew Ali. We're going to be going through oral statements today, and we're probably going to go from the other side, go from the end to sort of touch those ones that hardly ever get touched. And once we read those, we'll have some discussion on these oral statements of Noble Drew Ali. Before that, we'll just read the intro. My brother R. Love L., Grand Sheikh of Moorish Science Temple of America. This introduction is written to inform the Moors and readers of the importance of the things that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said when speaking to a group of Moors or to an individual. The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a message carrier for Allah, the same as the angels of Allah. To the Moors, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is an angel of Allah, who was sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah. The words that the Prophet spoke to the Moors were the messages of Allah that the Prophet brought to us. The Prophet said, "Every word I speak is spirit, and you Moors had better heed. That is regard his words with care. Consider them, give them our attention, and obey." The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali is due high honors in his station as a prophet of Allah. He is due high honors for the work he performed. He is due high honors for the suffering that he went through, that we may receive the holy and divine messages that he brought for our salvation. The things that the Prophet said are due high honor, because they are from Allah, the great God of the universe. A special warning to some who have committed a gross wrong in violation of the warning of the Prophet, wherein he stated, "Woe upon the one that scatters my flock." The Moors that have been in the Moorish Science Temple of America long enough, they have seen the reward of those that committed this wrong. It is not well what they have earned by their wrongful acts. Though the workers of this evil use the names of Allah and His Prophet to lure others from the true faith and path, they work but evil, and they lead astray those that also go to their harm. Religious or political issues are not at issue, and when these wrongs are committed, there is but one issue, and that is right and wrong. We Muslims, true submitters to the will of Allah, should obey Allah and His Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Prophet said, "Let me find you where I left you." The warning is plain. One should never say that Holy Prophet said a thing unless you know it to be right. The Holy Quran of Mecca teaches that the man that tells a lie on Allah or the Prophet creates a terrible doom. That is, that man creates a terrible doom for himself. Honor the Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and honor his words. Peace. Islam. Number 239. The Holy Prophet told the Moors, when you get married, go before your Grand Sheikh and let them perform the ceremony. Some of the Moors did not obey the Holy Prophet's order, so he told the Moors, go downtown and buy your wives from the European. The Prophet was telling the Moors to go and acquire a marriage license since they were not going to heed what he said. When a Moor gets married, he is to go before his Grand Sheikh to perform the marriage obligation. If a divine minister performs the ceremony, he is to do it before his Grand Sheikh. Right? So that's going back to the marriage laws in the Quran and all that. And it also goes to let us know that peace more, to let us know that Drew Ali was establishing our own customs. Going back again to don't go to City Hall and think that that's it as far as the marriage obligations. If you really want to obligate to somebody, you should do it the Moorish customs way, opposed to doing it the way that the colonizer has it set up. And as we know, the whole idea of the marriage and having pastor do the ceremony or preacher or whoever like that do the ceremony, you know that it's a slave ritual. Because only slaves gonna have pastor and all that stuff marrying them. And then next to that is the contract that you're under, that you have this whoever who doesn't even know you marrying you. And then he's putting you under a contract that now till death do you part. And majority of people don't even make it to death. They're going to be divorced in a year because the marriage, again, is a ritual. And it's a ritual for the slave caste. It's a ritual for the ones who aren't in the light, no different than swearing on the Bible is the slave stuff, and the affirmation is the free demonstration, right? Birth certificate is the slave stuff, and birth record is the free people's way of acknowledging the birth, right? So when we go back to what did Noble Drew Ali present this for the Moors and all that stuff, we know that he was bringing us back into that ancient mindset of having to not rely on the colonists, that you need it's like a sister called me yesterday, said, well, if I have a Grand Sheikh and all that stuff, then if I need counseling, I should be going to them. I shouldn't be going to some European out here, some whoever, to have them be the ones that you know, carry this thing out for me, make me better. I should be doing this with my body of people, right? Any thoughts on that last one about the marriage?
And also, it's a contract where they give up their rights to the government.
Right. Yep.
And, yeah, the way it goes, because first the government have to give them a license
Yeah.
before they can get married.
Yeah.
So that's the start of the contract.
Yep.
And it goes to the pastor.
The self enslavement. And again, you know, the idea that when we put everything up against you're not Negro, black, colored, you're Moors. Those are the things that he's addressing those statements. You're not Negro, black, colored, so you don't have to deal with the licenses. You don't have to deal with the fines. You don't have to deal with the things that are created for the slave class. And then once you're Moors, then we're supposed to have certain things in place that we could do certain things ourselves and not have to rely on the colonists to provide certain things. Now we know that due to occupation, here we are having to deal with certain things with the colonists, right? But me and Omar were talking earlier about, you know, we're 100 years removed from Noble Drew Ali. So things that we're seeing that's going on, it's not necessarily that Moors aren't doing what they're supposed to do and Moors aren't this and that or whatever. It's the colonization has been going on longer than we've been doing our activity. You know what I mean? And our activity has to be going on just as much, harder and longer than the colonial activities in order to catch it up to where they're at compared to where we're at. Go ahead, Moore.
And another thing to make it hard, when the colonization started and was happening, it was way less people. It's way less people to convince him to give stop.
Yeah.
So now it's way triple, how many times more people now
Yeah.
to get back into their promise.
Mhm.
So it's like more work now
Yeah.
to get us out than when we were coming in. Put it that way.
238. During the first annual national convention in 1928, one of the grand governors of the state failed to appear at the convention. Brother J. Blakely Bay, past Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator, said that the Holy Prophet sent the Grand Governor a telegram informing him that if he did not attend the convention, that he, the Holy Prophet, was going to have the FBI to arrest him. All Grand Sheiks and officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America are supposed to attend the annual conventions to account to the grand body of their temple responsibilities for the past year. Each subordinate temple is to send their Grand Sheik and Secretary of the convention to represent their temple and make reports to the grand body of temple affairs. So again, going back to when we look at Drew Ali and then and the convention picture, all the Moors that are in attendance, that was governmental activity. All the different heads from all the different temples going to the one grand major temple in order to put whatever they got to put on the record so that it proves that they're doing what they're supposed to do, they're following the law, they're etc. Right? By 1929, Drew Ali was out the way, and there wasn't even a second convention with him in it. Every convention after that with these individuals who came into the Moorish movement with their own agendas, their own intent, and directly led this into a way where it's where it is right now. You know what I mean? Temple over there doesn't talk to temple over there. Temple down there is doing stuff different than temple up there because everybody left the program that they were supposed to be dealing with And we looking for a phone? Oh. What?
I was gonna say, if that's the level of like, when you think on a different level, he said he's gonna call the police if you don't come to your convention.
Yeah.
Like, before the police was, we dealt with our own stuff, like treason.
Yeah.
Like, that's like treason, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going against your nation, that's treason. Not pretending you committed to something and then you're somehow you're not coming to, and you're a leader too.
Yeah.
Not like you're just,
You're not just a member.
right.
Yeah.
Speaks to the volume of like the level of like how serious this this divine movement is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, so kind of back on that. Like when I hear that, like you were saying that whole thing, I'm like, yo, it almost sounds like, like when you wanna act like a Negro, I'm gonna call your master, like,
Yeah.
Like
Right.
if you have a chance to be a national, be upright, independent, fearless, but it's like, like we have national business going on, and you're still acting like a Negro, like, I don't want to go, like,
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm gonna call your master on you because that's what you want.
Yeah.
Seems like it,
Mm-hmm. Islam. You found it?
And I give it to you.
Scared.
Underneath the fucking sloth. Look at that for you.
If he had was to make those statements, that could tell you that something was
What's going on?
going on.
Yeah.
If you have to, you should not to tell and threaten them that.
Yeah.
Not today, we should not do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that means something was going on. Something was going on. That's why after he left, then they should get the time with all goes on.
Yeah.
Because if you have to be drying them up like that, then you know
Mm-hmm.
something went wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
and even on that level, like you say, there was no convention after that.
Yeah. There was conventions, but Drew Ali wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it like less people there,
Well-
less leaders there, I should say.
Not really less, but that's when they start changing things now.
Yeah.
Because remember, begging them and wanting them to come to the convention.
Yeah.
This is where we were. And then that was the last one he went after he left. And then now the rest of the convention, they do what they want to do and everything is out.
Yeah. So 29. Yeah. So 29 to present. You had different bodies saying that they're the number one or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have a convention, and then the other guys are gonna have a convention over here, right?
Before it was one. When he
Before it was one convention.
Well, a lot of things happened those times because remember, during those times when the bankruptcy took place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It says 33, 1933, but maybe that's when they tell it.
Yeah.
It's been brewing during
Yeah,
those times,
yeah.
but 930, 31, 32, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
If the place go bankruptcy in 33, and he's have to be talking to these guys to make sure we can stay on top of things. It tells us a lot of things was happening, just like today day.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening right now, even.
Yeah.
Lots of things happening right
Yeah.
now. Because the corona and everything that's wars, this, that, a lot of destruction taking place right
And even on that level, like right now it's Corona. Y'all know Corona is crown.
Mhm.
And then back in the day, when Prophet was around, was it Spanish? Was it
Yeah.
Spanish flu?
Yeah.
Like those words, it's like, yo.
Yeah.
Like to even say that there was something
now.
wrong.
Yeah.
There must have been something wrong. Like Prophet was really on something like, yo, listen, we have to get together now.
We have to do it now.
Like
now.
now.
Right
Yeah.
now, because it's coming.
It's on the way.
It's not no game. And then later on, well, Prophet's not Prophet transition.
Yeah.
So that speaks volume, personally.
And then he's transitioned. He transitioned, and then 100 years later, same thing going on.
Same thing.
Flu. You know what I mean? People talking crazy. Acting crazy. They don't want to do what Noble Drew Ali said. They want to do stuff their own way and whatever like that. History repeats itself, as they say.
Right, they can't even follow it. Was it? They switched the date of the convention, right? Something
The month, yeah.
The month that, yeah,
Yeah.
like all that, like, they couldn't stick to the simple
Yeah.
protocol. Stick to that.
And again, that's what, it's like once the what they say, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And that's just where it went. And it never got back to what it really was because the mice been playing the whole time.
Right.
And again too, because of the people not having the knowledge of what's going on, whether it wasn't given to them by the leadership, because today we can just go out and get the info.
Right.
Noble Drawley's literature or whatever the case is, but was it something where back then they were holding on to the stuff so that the people don't have access to it? People could come. There's Qurans right now where people could go in and they can't, or temples, people go in and they can't get a Quran right now. You know what I mean? Whereas, they come in this door, member or not, you get a Quran when you leave. Just as a standard. You know what I mean? If they were holding it back like that during Noble Drew Ali's time, no wonder the people didn't have the knowledge of what it is that he brought.
Even after that, I remember Todd wanted to get one for his sister, or it was a problem.
Yeah.
I remember he was telling us that.
Yeah.
Either for his sister or some relative he wanted to get.
Yeah.
And the sister didn't even come up because she
because they dissed her. Yeah.
sister,
Yeah.
So you put all these pieces together, we could tell what's been going on.
Yeah. And again, that comes back to the whole thing with once the people who say that they're involved with this take it as theirs, just like anything else that they have that they cherish or whatever like that, then they're gonna take care of it. You know what I mean? There's people who live in Toronto housing that treat their spot like they own it. Then there's other people who live there and they don't care. Doors hanging off and all that stuff, and they don't care. You know what I mean? Because, well, I'm renting, so I don't have to take care of this or whatever the case is. And then there's people who got homes that they don't take care of that. And that's theirs. And they don't take care of it. You know what I mean? So Moors that are when we bring up the the statement, the boat has left the dock and all that, and people feel that they're behind and they got to catch up to whatever like that. There's once you trust in what Noble Drew Ali presented, once you're studying what Drew Ali said to study, and you're not all over the place with wanting to learn 50 million different subjects.
You like that too.
Yeah, right. You teleport to the boat that left. One day you're just gonna find yourself on the boat with all the rest of the Moors. You're not even gonna know how you got there. You're just gonna realize that, oh damn, there's Moors around me. Oh damn, I can go with my phone, and when I go like this, there's only L's and B's in there. You know what I mean?
I was going back to the statement too. I was thinking how Noble Drew Ali said, "The European are helping me. Why not?"
Yeah.
Because he even said the books are out there. Like even the Quran is on the Library of Congress. You can easily get it now. Right?
Mhm.
The European,
Yeah.
that's their stuff.
You
That's
could
their
get-
platform, right?
Can get it. There's no reason why you can't get it now.
You're saying there's temples that you can't even go to. get
Yeah,
the Quran.
there's temples right
The
now.
Europeans have it on
that-
their site.
There's temples right now.
A lot of them on the phone for I see people showing me things now.
Right?
Yeah.
In Europe and it's talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Things on the phone, you know what I mean? They're talking stuff.
Right.
Hmm.
They're speaking the truth. The only thing is that I want to let my people know that these people telling the truth.
Yeah.
Right. You see, they're the one that lied to us.
Yeah.
They're telling us the truth. If we don't know, we still might ignore them.
But it's a selective learning or something, because they're gonna talk about, they don't want to hear the European tell them about Moors, but they're gonna go trust them to give them vax or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, so if you're gonna listen to them with the vax, then why you listen to them with what the Moors are saying? You know, it's a selective thing.
No second thought
Yeah,
about that. Line up for
No
us.
question.
No question.
Yep.
That's good. It's the same thing with history. It's like when we'll talk about history, and we come with the facts and the sources and where we got it from. Most of our people still don't even want to hear us.
Yeah.
But European can go on TV and just make some random claim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's come out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
A dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's. Everybody know. Well, I let my dog lick my face all the time.
Yeah.
The dog's mouth is cleaner than humans, right? And it's like, go with that. No question. No.
Yeah.
100%. Like all that is it brings to my mind. You know, this is probably why the prophet like barely smiled. Like, he was always on business.
Yeah.
He was always on timing. Like, yeah.
No playing around. Yeah.
Mhm.
No playing around.
Marcus Garvey.
Yep. You're gonna find some.
Never seemed smiling a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Always in tune with something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%.
You're gonna have the Martin pictures of him smiling and El Haj smiling and you name them. Ben Amim smiling, all these different people. Elijah Muhammad smiling. You have all these people smiling. You look at Drawley and Garvey, they weren't playing no games.
That's crazy.
They weren't playing any games at all.
Real quick. Even when he was sitting back with that picture with what's his name?
The
The
Priest.
Boys, something like that?
With Oscar the Priest. Yeah. When he was in the
yes,
chair.
Oscar
Yeah.
Priest. And he was just kind of like chilling back.
Yeah.
His face was still straight.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust these people. Like
Yeah.
I know what's going on.
I know what's going on. Pull some game on it. Some people, not the prophet. 237. The Holy Prophet told the Moors, if you want European grand sheiks, I can give them to you. Some people are so under the influence of slavery, though they are free, that they do not wish to honor and follow their own leaders. So the Holy Prophet gave them a choice. Going back to the same thing again. Right, what we were talking about. European says dog's mouth is cleaner than humans, so everybody's gonna kiss their dog's mouth now. Have baby getting their face licked and mouth licked by dogs or whatever like that.
And we know that dog have a kind of a saliva thing there, which is not good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good for human.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't be licking your face like that.
Yeah.
And I could prove something. I remember when we small and if you get a cut,
They make the dog lick
the
it.
dog lick it. You don't need no doctor.
Yeah.
You don't need nothing. Just let the dog lick it. So, I'm not guessing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not guessing that one. Just let the dog, and the dog always come lick it too.
Yeah.
Like he knows to go.
Knows
lick it.
that's what to do. Yeah.
He knows. And when you lick it, nothing, it's over. That's not a guess, I'm guessing. I get those cuts. Can't tell me nothing.
Yeah. 236. The Holy Prophet said, I am the fifth and last prophet, and I am 5 times more powerful than I was before. The Prophet Noble Jew Ali was the last 5 prophets that Allah sent, and he is 5 times more powerful than the other 5 prophets before him.
Speaks volumes.
Volumes.
Speaks volumes.
So if he's the 5th and the last prophet, and 5 times more powerful than he was before as the other prophets, then everybody who's following all those other prophets should be looking at Noble Jew Ali as the prophet.
And I could add to that because for one thing he do that the rest don't, he said his message is for the world. The rest didn't say that.
Yeah.
The rest is for the Jewish people.
The
Christian
the Islamic people or whatever,
or for the Buddha's people. But his thing is for the world.
The world.
The world.
Universal prophet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it gotta be that's a big difference.
100%.
Yep.
Him even having the photos with him revealing the hand.
Yeah,
It's like I feel like people don't realize how big that is.
Yeah,
You know, like to do that, you know, you
Yeah.
see everybody else hiding their hand and him just like, nah, I'm telling you everything. I'm
Yeah.
letting you know what's going on.
I mean, even when you talk about that, how many people even know that when they look at all the other people that they were hiding their hand, it's just a pose for a picture
Mm-hmm.
for them. You know what I mean? And it's only Moors that would see things like that and then be able to decipher what's going on by putting Nobuju Ali next to it. You know what I mean? You take everybody else's flag, put the Moorish flag next to it. You realize majority of flags have that star in it. Whether it's solid star, whether it's open star, or whatever the case is, they know about the star. They know about the red. You know what I mean?
The star here is in the World Cup now.
Yeah.
Get that one there? Morocco.
I feel like that's kind of rigged though, because I'm looking at it like, okay, Morocco, what's in the Final Four, right? Morocco, France, Croatia. Who else?
Argentina, yeah.
So then, from what I know, right?
Yeah.
About the whole Patagonia whites and all that, and then I know about the Croats and Moors, and those so-called Indians that ran government.
Mhm.
And then you got Morocco, our nation. Then you got French. When you look at the etymology of French, it's franc, but it also means free.
Yeah.
So either Allah is the greatest planner or this is great.
Yeah.
I look at it like that, you know.
Yeah.
And these teams too are like considered
The low. Yeah.
The lower, yeah.
one to the pause. We're on the
Yeah.
pause for the team then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
The meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah, definitely.
You know. Yeah.
Yesterday, France played England or something. Was it yesterday? I think France played England or something like that. But I was looking at it like from the metaphysical, like okay, France. So I was reading the thing about how Quebec wants to get rid of the Queen as the monarchy, like get rid of the crown. But Canada's saying no, like they still want to keep them, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it like, okay, French and England were playing together in soccer, so I'm thinking like that too.
Yeah,
Like the whole thing is all rigged to make us think even deeper, right? They're trying every week mind.
Trying every week mind.
Every week, for real.
Trying every
That's
week
how I'm
mind.
looking at it, for real.
Yeah.
Even on that mindset, I remember visiting that territory. You don't really see a lot of so-called Canadian flags over there. Like, they really want to.
Yeah, they're repping their stuff.
Yeah, it's like colonizer versus colonizer
Yeah.
right now. You know, it's like
Mhm.
what, like, how do we fall? The fact that like we kind of even back to the whole convention thing where the leaders didn't go. You know, like isn't that kind of how we felt? Where it's like kind of lost that unity. Where it's like same thing with the European, where it's like they're losing their unity.
Yeah, they're retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of them will step down. For no
Mhm.
reason, Steve. They have no reason anyway, but
Yeah, Quebec, then you have Alberta, they're talking about
Alberta trying to leave too. Yeah.
their sovereignty acting like
Yeah.
all this collapsing. Like, you know what I mean? Then you have people talking about we need some tanks and guns. It's like
Yeah.
Prophet gave us books.
Yeah.
It's not even that deep.
It's not that deep. We would make it that deep, but it ain't that deep. 235. Brother J. Foster Bay of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet said, if your brother wants something, give it to him so that he won't sin. Your giving a thing to your brother will keep him from coveting it, which is a sin.
Don't make it a pattern though.
Right, yeah. Definitely don't make it a pattern. Because you already know how the vampires do. You know, give them an inch, they take 500 miles just because you gave them an inch. You know, and we know that you know we have certain obligations to our brothers and sisters, Holy Covenant and things like that, but don't get taken advantage of. Actually, I was talking with him more about that the other day. Same thing. You know, yeah, we love our brothers and sisters and all that stuff, but Don't even play around with that whole thing of well, they're Moors, so I'm gonna assist. Yeah, but you've been assisting for 2 years. Like when are you gonna stop assisting these people and let them start assisting themselves?
Yeah, that first assist was just giving a boost.
Yeah, like that's all.
Yeah.
Just a boost.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're supposed to be inspired by your service to them to serve themselves, or to realize that you're doing all this for them. Maybe they can do for you.
Yeah, make it perpetual.
Make some type of arrangement so that it's not just this one way thing. You know what I mean? If you're gonna give, if you're gonna receive, then it has to be reciprocal. There has to be an exchange. It can't be just give, and then you give a little bit, and then somebody gives, and then you give one, and then somebody gives 20, and then you give 2. If you can't hold to the obligation of giving as much as you're getting, then you should probably say that you don't want to take anymore.
Right.
You should probably, yield on receiving if you can't give that back in return. Especially in times like now, like we were saying last week with the brothers that came last week, right? Yeah, brother wants something, we'll give it to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But but when you have nothing and you're asking, but then you're being picky with what you want,
Right.
Go somewhere. You're getting what I want to give.
And that's like the same line with how the prophet said, the nation can never reach its highest level of spirituality. It's
Yep.
the same thing with
Being
the
a beggar.
individual, right?
Yeah.
How that individual when they reach on a high plane,
Mm-hmm.
he's always just looking around and not you got the help, and that help wasn't the motivation. So you look for more help, and that help.
That help wasn't the motivation. They look for more help, and then that help wasn't the motivation. Something's gotta be the motivating factor. And then if it's not, then you have to start looking at those people who are constantly receiving and never giving. You have to look at them. And it can't be a thing where, Moors are feeling bad because they gotta, be stern or disciplined or whatever with somebody who they've been assisting. You know what I mean? Especially if you've been assisting them, you've been bending over backwards for them, and then they're not even reciprocating the energy at all, in no way, shape, or form, like nothing. They're not even coming back with something, off the cuff, nothing at all. Then don't beat yourself up about well, the Holy Covenant, we gotta look out for. Don't get taken advantage of, because a lot of these people out here, that's learned behavior. You know what I mean? That's people who should know better and choose not to know better, because everybody knows right from wrong. Everybody knows when somebody is going overboard with their assistance.
Yeah.
That you could tell them, I got this now. You know what I mean? All right.
It's like call it they're saying thank you. They never get to say you're welcome.
Yeah.
Just thank you. That means it's just taking.
Yeah.
Thank you, taking. No, what happened to you? You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
They don't have you're welcome in their vocabulary. Yeah.
Then my mom goes,
No, you're welcome going on.
and she said, but that they put a part in the Bible. She's telling my mom, it said there's more happiness in giving than receiving. And I'm saying to her, like, you have a point there, because you feel good when you give somebody.
Yeah.
You feel good. But at the same time, you don't make them take advantage of you, because you're always happy to give them.
To give that, yeah.
So that's there's a level there where you gotta, how to balance the thing with work.
Yeah.
There's surely more happiness in giving. Because sometimes people take it, you could see them feel bad and they don't want to take it, but circumstance they have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But in giving now, wow, I'm so glad I get to give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Brother O. Patton Bay, GS of Branch Temple 25, Michigan, said that the Holy Prophet said, if you try to tell what a man is by looking at him, you are burnt up from the start. One cannot tell what nationality a man is by looking at him. One needs to ask him what his nationality is.
That right there is for some, like, anybody who nowadays calls himself black, you know what I mean? It's like anybody with dark skin, it's like you hear them talk about people say, oh, but they black, we black.
Mm.
You get the conversation with them,
Yeah.
they'll say, oh, we black. And it's just like, nah, like, especially get into the research. When I got into contact with more nationals, especially when I told them about my nationality and what's going on, that I'm not black, and
Yeah.
like, the conversation is always easy, like they get it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're right, like.
Yeah.
Of course, you might look the same, but like, yeah, I come from the other side of the ocean, you come from here.
Yeah.
Like the turban man that traveled this morning on the bus. You know the back door, the green light come, you push it out.
Yeah.
See me, I didn't have to push it. He opened it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to touch the door for it open.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they have control over it too.
Right.
When you're wearing a turban and they see me, you open it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That tells you something.
Yeah.
I didn't have to touch it.
Straight.
And that's what I see different, because I see other people get off that doesn't wear a fez or a turban or anything, and they have to push it to get off. I observe it.
Yeah.
So I see when my time comes now, it open.
Right.
I also feel like that has to do with what we were just talking about, how, some people go towards the dirty people, because they assume they got a turban or a fez on, that it's just like, like they're benevolent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never use discernment. Yeah.
They don't use discernment, like, it's that I feel like that goes along with a lot of things like practicing.
Yeah.
Even the whole the biggest fool is the educated fool. Like I have to really get into like an argument with someone over something that shouldn't be an argument amongst Moors.
Yeah.
Like,
especially amongst Moors.
Amongst Moors,
Yeah.
because we're studious.
Yeah.
We're studious. We're supposed to know
Like
things.
how are we going with emotional arguments opposed to the facts? Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Been there a couple times.
Yeah.
Especially lately, I've been there a lot of times.
Yeah.
Especially lately, you have to argue with people. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to bring it up, but like
Yeah.
that in itself, that has a lot to do with the sellers, 100%.
Yeah.
So people just,
Study. That's why the prophet said, study 3 times.
Yeah.
You ask questions, right? You don't look at it. Like sometimes, people will come up to me and they'll be like, "Are you Somalian?" Or like, "Are you like, like I'll be wearing my turban." They'll be like, "Are you?" I'll be wearing my turban. I'll be wearing my fez, and some of them like from the east will be like, "Where are you from? Somalia or something?" And I'll be like, "Where do you even see Somalia?"
Yeah.
And some days I'll wear the turban, and then some I'll get the question of, "Are you like Jamaican? Are you Rastafarian or something?" I'm like, "What makes you assume that? Because I'm wearing a turban?" Like, I don't see Jamaicans wearing turbans like how Moors wear turbans. If you know what I'm saying?
trust me. Like added to that, like camelback on that, I feel like that's a lot talking to us. Like, I wear this is a turban I wear most of the time, and a lot of times people say that, like, "Are you a Rasta?" I'll be like, I'm confused. Like, I've never seen a Rasta wear this in my life. But I'll just be like, "Nah, I'm not a Rasta." I'll just be like, "Oh, okay." But I feel like that's a lot of talking to us. Like, you see, like, what they equated it with island people.
Yeah.
Like,
No, they don't. They're not noticing what he wears. Because the Rastaman always wrap their hair.
Yeah.
They always raps it is. It's a rap too.
Yeah, they just look at it as a rap.
Yeah,
That's
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
You
general
agree?
rap. Yeah,
Even now with my turban, they still calling me Rasta.
yeah,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, they still call me Rasta.
yeah,
Trust me. But that should even speak to the Rastas.
yeah.
Like, in itself, they make that correlation, like turban, Rasta.
Moors.
Or, you know what I mean? Like,
And then this one also talks to the saying about judging a book by its cover. That you have to go through it. You know what I mean? Cover might look amazing, but until you read the book, you're speculating.
100%. So the European homie, why not you, right?
Yeah,
It's like some people like, yo, there's some Europeans, it's like, yeah, they're occupiers, but it's like, yo, there's some Europeans that are writing more than some Moors, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
just even, like just regular, just everyday neighborhood stuff.
Hmm.
I grew up with some Europeans who were way more honest than, some people that
Yeah.
look just like me.
Yeah.
Again, right back to that,
Hmm.
Don't judge a man by how he looks. A lot of our people do that.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you defending some European? You defend the devil. And it's just like,
Yeah. Like, what did they do to you that they're a devil? Like, what did they do? Well, Europeans, no, we're not talking about Europeans. We're talking about this one European over here that you're saying is the devil because the white man is the devil or whatever.
trust.
But then they never said nothing about the black devils and all that, as if there's none of those or something.
Which means evil.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The prophet said, "Money does not make the man, and clothes do not make the man. It is character and free national standards that make the man."
Character, free national.
Character and free national standards.
I had an argument with one of my cousin's husband. Him and I were outside of one of those Caribbean restaurants, and he went off on how, because I'm telling him we're Moors, and he's breaking it down, and it's been going on like this for years with him. Like he's already heard it, but he got to the point where he got a new Range Rover, and and we were there and we were talking about how money is gold and silver, and I'm like, yo. Like all of what you have, the material stuff, the material world, like yo, bro, you see me have my Civic, if I wanted to get a new, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm breaking it down to him, and he goes, no, he's like, if you don't have a car, he's like, what do you have to show proof for yourself? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, this is where your head's at. You got like 4 children to raise, and this is where your head's at.
Yeah.
Not good, bro, not good.
Have a car.
Grown man, with the Range Rover, talking about this is what makes it, the money makes it.
Yeah.
This is Moors and all that, But,
Yeah, and we go back to that same thing with
And the
You know,
range, they're hot stolen cars.
yeah. Yeah.
Hottest stolen cars. Right?
Yeah. Range. Yeah. They jack those.
One is in the shop up there, one shop I know right now. In the back of the trunk, the right corner, just above the light there, you just cut a 3-inch hole. It's a plastic piece. Cut one yellow wire, kill the navigation system. This guy lucky they didn't move it before he cashed it. He already cut.
Yeah.
Come for repair. And about 3 weeks ago, insurance appraiser came there and it showed us right there. So right here, 4 inches square, cut that, one yellow wire, cut it. They can't find this car again. No more navigation, can't find it. So this car now, they get as far as cutting the hole, but something happened.
And they never got to do it. Yeah.
And then I heard last week or sometime ago, 160 from Vaughn, that year was there.
160 Range Rovers.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What's on the news?
he's hearing this.
Those are hot. Those are hot.
Talking about range. I heard it on the news.
Yeah.
Specific to that car, not just high-end car.
For real.
And I said, Range, I have to listen to it again. Yes, he said that. And then remember the appraiser told me that And then one is in the shop right now, so how am I gonna make a mistake in this?
Yeah.
It's really, one is in the shop right now, the same corner they cut to.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, that's crazy.
100%.
Even, but, I was gonna say earlier, Allah's the greatest man, because
Yeah.
you even saying this. I was talking to my mom's about the system that we have, and I had to like really come to that hard realization that it's like, oh, like, because I was telling her about this video that I see of one of these, conspiracy people. They're talking about how they're gonna come up with these bills that can expire.
Mm.
I was telling my dudes, for like, but I was telling my dudes, like, but that kind of already happened. Like, like there's people that have, the old, Canadian notes.
Yeah.
Of those,
Yeah.
they can't hand them in right now. So
Yeah.
it expired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and on top of that, the whole system is based on you buying stuff. It's not based on you saving anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, money doesn't make the man and all that stuff. It's just free national character standards. Like, you having $100,000, but you know what to do with it versus, I got $100,000 and I feel like I'm on top of you. It's kind of like talking to those people.
And to come off of that, I was talking to someone about the whole signature thing. Is the reason why they go still keep printing. Because you need signatures to keep printing.
Yeah.
If they don't get signatures, how they print? Right? Who's giving them the authorization? Say they got 1,000 or 1,000,000 signatures,
Mm.
they get approved to print more money, fiat. Right?
Yeah.
But it's the character in us. It's the character in us because we're not conditioned to be signing with all rights reserved, which stops them from doing certain things, right?
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah.
100%.
What, let me put this out there. What would you qualify as the character and the free national standards that make the man?
I didn't even go off what really saying. I forgot what did you just say?
The contracts, like the signing the signature, and how we don't they're able to still do what they're doing because we sign something and we don't have the character or the mindset to think, okay, if I sign this contract, I'm getting involved with some con.
Yeah.
100%.
So you put all rights reserved, right? Ever since I did with the immigration thing and I put all rights reserved and I never heard from them again. Like, certain things, it's like, whoa, this is real character stuff. Like you gotta know the standards. Okay?
100%. Because even on that note, I remember telling some people about the all rights reserved, and it's like, again, free national character standard. It's just like they would defend the colonists, being like, yo, but if you sign all rights reserved, how are they gonna know who it is? And it's like, just
defending some shit. Yeah.
I'm like, brother, you're giving me a way out, and it's like you're not taking it.
Yeah.
It's like they're open. It's like they're giving you the key to open the shackles, and you're looking at the key like as if you're trying to look for the master, give it back to them.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna say with the character thing, it's love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Also, being upright and fearless, independent. The standards would be us applying those every day and adhering to what the prophet brought. Those is the standard. The standard is we come to temple or our meeting every Sunday. Right?
100%.
Standard is you give honor to the prophet every day, every chance you get. And that makes the individual, right? The principles, the standards, right?
It's individual. Because even going back to I remember with the man in China, right? Selling his passports. Like if you have any type of free national standard, it's like you just will always say you already have passports. You know what I mean? Just put all rights reserved and just use it. It's an instrument.
Yeah.
It's not your identification. It's just something that you use. Like how much I worked around, went to school with, been around a lot of foreign people who, let's say they come from China and then they say, ask them what their name is. Their name is like Tony or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you know your person name is Tony. What's
Yeah.
your real name? And they'll tell you their real
Yeah,
name.
yeah,
But they know they'll say stuff like, "What's my English name?" Or,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's my Canadian name. It's like free national standard. You know, oh, this the so-called slave what I was born with. You know what I mean? Or the one that's on the birth certificate. It's just it's a cloak. You know what I mean? Like it's a cover. You know what I mean? Put in the all rights reserved. Like it's like you're saying with the whole immigration thing. Like they know that every time I go to these government offices, so-called government offices, and I even put all rights reserved. There's always like some type of like somebody to say something. I'll tell you that. Somebody to say something like what is this and why are you doing this?
Well, you know what it is. It's asking.
They know what it is. They know what it is. They'll accept the line with the scribble, but the second you put all rights reserved, that's an issue. But those without free national character and standards, they don't even know that type of stuff. They just want to just get along.
If they, once they get there, once they do what the prophecy, claim your birthright. Once you claim that, then the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you claim that, now you know you could sign all rights reserved because I have a right. And I have rights to reserve it.
Yeah.
You don't have a rights, we're gonna tell them to reserve his rights, and they don't even have a right.
You have rights.
All right, you're gonna tell them to reserve his
Yeah.
rights.
Yeah.
Don't even know our rights.
Yeah.
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 You gotta get your rights, and your rights is your birthright. So
Yeah.
once you have that right,
Once you have that, you better reserve it. You better reserve it.
Protect it.
Yeah.
100%.
Protect that rights now by any means.
Mm-hmm. Straight.
100%.
Character, Black's Law Dictionary. Class or division to which claim belongs. The aggregate of the moral qualities which belong to and distinguish an individual person. The general result of the one's distinguishing attributes. That moral predisposition or habit or aggregate of ethical qualities which is believed to attach to a person on the strength of the common opinion and report concerning him. A person's fixed disposition or tendency as evidenced to others by his habits of life, though through the manifestation of which his general reputation for the possession of a character, good or otherwise, is obtained. The estimate attached to an individual or thing, the community, the opinion generally entertained of a person derived from the common report of the people who are acquainted with him. Although character is often used in the sense of reputation, the terms are distinguishable. Though in a subjective sense, general character, and general report of reputation are the same. Though general character has always been proved by proving general reputation. Character is what a man is, and reputation is what he is supposed to be. Character depends on attributes possessed, and reputation on attributes which others believe one to possess. The former signifies reality, the latter merely what is accepted to be reality at present. Now again, if people read through that and then they hear him talk about that, and then they talk about him being religious and whatever like that, and because he's talking about the character of man, but then we go to law dictionary and characters in there as a law term, then he's putting it in a certain arena when he's making these statements. These aren't just some religious statements that he's making for the moral duty of man or whatever. This is actually law terms that he's bringing up, right?
it's like, some people that they get into trouble and they see the more get out of trouble with the more information, thinking that they can get out of trouble too.
Yeah.
When it's like we just read. It's not about reputation. Like you can have a reputation
Yeah.
as a more, but like the audience is watching you too. Like
Right.
they see your actions. If you're moving like a more, you're like even without turning their fence, if
Yeah.
you're just moving like a more, just living on those principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's just like you see all the time. You wouldn't even see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel like that would relate to character.
Mhm. And putting that energy out of good character not only would keep these certain people away from you, but would also gravitate the right things to you too, if you have good character. Going back to the thing of the reputation, with Drew Ali talking about, the members should know about you, about the works and deeds that you're doing right. It should be something that when they bring up, Rennie Bay, anybody saying, "Oh, Rennie, he got me for $5,000. He did this. He was supposed to fix my car. He didn't do the good job." There's not supposed to be any of that. If the character is right, you know what I mean. And then through the good character, then you would have the reputation. But people want the rep without paying the dues of acting right. Yeah, you know what I mean? They just want to say, "Oh, well, turban or fez on, that means I'm good as a Moor." Not really. Card, papers, I got my papers, that means I'm good. But then they're in the back doing madness. You know what I mean? Or when they don't have the fez on or the turban on, they can do madness now because they don't have the stuff on. Brother J. Foster Bay of Temple 4 and 25 said, "The Holy Prophet said, the European is our fellow man." And then going through the track record again with, Moors having this thing with trying to prove something to the European, as if something has to be proved to them about who we are, as if they don't know already, taking this idea of the European is the devil or whatever like that, Drawley clearing that up.
We create them.
Yeah, Drawley
them.
clearing that all up. The Europeans, your
them.
fellow man.
You can say
The
that.
devil is our devil.
Yeah.
So we gotta know how to deal with our devil.
Mhm.
Our devil.
Yeah.
But in a sense, even that being said, the prophet kind of said that in a way because he said, "What? If the prophet's not right, the temple's not right."
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if the European came from us and we're calling them the devil,
Yeah.
then
Then how right are we?
we're exactly you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're calling us that. It's crazy. I was telling him that the other day, where he was going through some issues, and I talked to him about just being himself. Where I was saying, you being yourself, like just you being yourself, you're gonna get things done that you need to get done. You're not gonna focus on the enemy all the time. You're not gonna focus on the quote unquote op. Because if you keep on focusing on your quote unquote op, your op is just gonna end up popping up every single turn you make.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to move without them. Because they live off of our energy, as it is. Your parents. How can we have this idea of let's, kill so-called white man? It doesn't make sense. That's like wanting to kill your children.
Yeah.
Like Prophet made the first principle of love, no?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what does a deadbeat parent have to do? You can't go to the child who you abandoned.
Yeah.
Because they're acting up. I'm gonna get the belt on you now. It's just like, they're just gonna act out against you equally because they don't even know you. You know what I mean? You're coming trying to be some disciplinary figure and you haven't played your role.
Yeah.
And it's like,
all my life you never been my father, and now you want to be my father.
Now you got
yeah.
Who is
Who are you?
he?
They try to use the whole wave the finger like, listen, I gave birth to it. It's just like,
And and Where you been? Since you gave birth to me, where you been? Yeah.
It's like, Mom gave birth to me anyways. What are you? It's not. It's not.
Yeah. Brother Ikook Bey said that the Holy Prophet said, I can do what Jesus did, but you, the Moors, are not in the condition that those people were in. I can do what Jesus did, but you Moors are not in the condition that those people were in.
I feel like that's kind of me personally. I look at that. I feel like that's symbolism.
Yeah.
It's silent symbol because we were just coming out of the age of Pisces, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then Jesus or Yeshua kind of represent Pisces.
Yeah.
And the age of Aquarius is electronic, no?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you can say that. Yeah, I can do what Jesus did, but you're not in the condition that those people were. Yeah, because we're in the electronic era.
So we're in a different age. Yeah. The age changed.
Age.
So there needs to be a new way of doing it, because the old way is not gonna work. Always not gonna work.
Like, I feel like there's a reason. Like, I feel like that's the reason why he used the word Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not any other individual.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Islam.
Islam more. Yep. Brother T. Booker Bay. Peace more. That's good. Yeah, right. Brother T. Booker Bay said that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, the Moors once ruled the world. Now get ready to rule it again. But this time it's going to be done under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Right? Perfect. Perfect. How else is it gonna? How else would it? How else would this thing work? You know what I mean? Us ruling again, knowing that, just like we were saying with European, we created them, and then they ended up being the devil. So what does that mean about us? Right? It means we're messed up too. The fact that we wanted to create somebody to be a slave, now we're complaining about being slaves to other people. Right? You're not Negro, black, colored. We're Moors. Being Moors, you're supposed to be able to recognize what the principles are and then live by those principles, so that whatever is going to manifest in favor of the Moors. Because it's only going to happen if the Moors are living by the principles. But if the Moors aren't living by the principles, then, like he said in Divine Warning, the worst is yet to come. And then majority of the worst, some of us even witness some of the worst happen already. You know what I mean? Some people got taken out by the worst that happened. And the cycle just keeps continuing in that downward motion for our people. Right? Then again, if he's making reference to us ruling the world and that we're gonna rule it again, going back to the thing with the World Cup and the flag and whatever like that, and looking at these things as esoteric, metaphysical, you know what I mean? Spiritual, symbolic, not just some match on the pitch, you know what I mean? Yeah, right? You know?
This guy told me it was $10 for the underdog, which was Morocco. And
Yeah.
I kid you not, he said you get like 100,000 payout
Yeah,
if you bet this $10 on the Moroccan soccer game.
yeah, yeah.
They didn't bet on the soccer, they didn't bet on Morocco because, you know, it's Morocco.
Why bet on Morocco?
Morocco won. This guy's cussing.
Yeah.
God.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, well, bro, I don't know what to tell you because I did tell you guys years ago. $10 this guy was telling
That was
me
like the-
100,000.
I like the Brazil people who were jumping off bridges last week or in the week. Yo, like $10 to get 100,000. Way better odds than the freaking lotto. What?
Morocco, it's not.
Yeah.
be spending that $10 on the lottery every day.
Yeah. Shit, more than that.
You getting money.
Nothing. Not even a free ticket.
I worked with this one girl who used to buy lottery every day, basically, and eventually she ended up winning like I don't know, like a couple grand or something. She was so happy. And I was just like, I've known you for like 4 years. You buy this thing every day.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even break even.
Yeah. Just every freaking Wednesday and Friday though, they're going for their ticket, yo.
Oh, but she was one of those bad ones who do like all of it. It's not like the big, just
Yeah.
the big, $90 million stuff. No, she's playing like the,
Yeah.
the cash for life.
Yeah. The scratchies and all that. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, they say thing is an addiction, yo. You know what I mean?
So
It's an addiction.
She thinks you're one of those people like at the corner store and always, like,
Well, because I was working at there was a grocery store, but they had like the customer service, so they'd sell
Yeah.
food. So it was at work, she's buying it.
Yeah.
She didn't have to go to the corner store.
Not even because she's at work buying it. Crazy. On it. Crazy.
And to add on to that statement too about the oral statement there,
Mm.
there was this part that I'm reflecting on in my head about when Muhammad left the scene. There was like peace for a while,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then Drew Ali came. Was it
No,
it was
Jesus.
Jesus, and then
Yeah.
Muhammad came.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was peace for a while, and then Muhammad came, right? And now Drew Ali came, right? And what do we see? We see things going on because they don't want to come to the conclusion that Drew Ali is the guy. So then all these things keep
continuing on
until they realize it's like a game where it's like, okay, you lose the game until you realize how to actually beat the game.
Yeah.
To go here. There's only one blueprint.
There's only yeah. There's no other way to beat the game. Yeah. Yeah. You have to find yourself through the flaming hoop somehow. Yeah. Yeah. Sister M. Lovett L. said that the Holy Prophet said one day there are going to be so many women, a man is going to have to run for his life.
It's crazy. I was talking to bro about that thing. I'm saying like, as far as the whole run for your life, I feel like that was a prophet just have to be like lighthearted in the sense like, yo, look at all like the tranny people and all that stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
for real.
like, if I see a whole bunch of girls coming towards me, I'm not trying to run for my life. I'm not trying to run for my life. I'm walking them like, yo, I'm walking. You know, but to run for my life is like, that makes sense if some of them are really.
Some of them are really, yeah.
Not no more.
Yeah. They're running for their life because it's not a woman. Yep. But they also could play into the high percentage of men who are in prison or whatever.
Yeah.
That there's this many women. And
that percentage up to men that turn the other way now.
yeah.
So
Men who switch up.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And two, I remember all my school life in school, I never in a class with no boys.
Yeah.
Never. Even like you say, some boys never go to school. Condos out. Still, even you check the village, I mean, how many boys in the village, how many girls? Always more girls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Always more girls.
I thought about this too. Especially with a lot of the videos nowadays. There's a lot of videos of women, like the men that they like, that they're going towards. They go to find out that they're, they're sodomites. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they kind of like to even use the word men. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what if it's gonna be this thing where it's like, yo, they're gonna realize who the real men are, and then that's the whole. They're gonna go away from like the Justin Biebers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And the Drakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're gonna go towards the real like ruffians.
Something's gonna click.
Something gonna click.
Yeah.
You're gonna notice that. You're gonna notice like, oh,
Yeah.
I've been looking at the wrong
I've been
one
looking
the
at the
whole time.
wrong ones the whole time. Yep. Brother T. Booker Bay said that the Holy Prophet said the Moors are a dangerous people. I'm not going to wake you all up at once. I won't be.
Hold on. They're dangerous people. Can't wake them up all at one time.
Can't make them up all at once. If I do, I won't be able to do anything with you myself. The Moors are a dangerous people.
Look at the whole thing with the Maroons.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
And that whole like scene playing out over there.
Yeah.
We were not giving up. Like we were just, like we were tearing. They came and built, and somehow we're tearing it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous
Can you
people.
imagine that big island? There's one set that said ain't gonna happen. Think about it good.
Yeah.
They just say, okay, you're Marine Stadium now, and that's yes, they ain't gonna let it happen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Stand up for your Maroon, whatever they stand up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
So it's the same Moors. Those
Yeah.
are Moors. That's not
And it even plays too with what we're dealing with even now with so many people that can't, whether they can't wake up or it's hard for them to wake up or whatever, that it's not registering with them when they get this info. You know what I mean? That if Juali's working from the soul plane and people are supposed to, I mean, it's Aquarian age, information that in your palm, you don't have any excuse not to know right now. Not the fact checkers, not the algorithm, nothing should be in the way of people knowing something right now. And then people are still not knowing. Then maybe they're not supposed to be awake. Maybe they're supposed to be asleep still. You know what I mean? And those who are awake are the ones who are supposed to be awake.
That's how I look at it too, always.
Yeah.
Because thinking about that, it's like, what if that individual you think is supposed to be awake, the whole time they're just more dangerous than you ever thought they were. Just like this simple looking person. They know that they're more now.
Yeah.
They're tearing something up. You hear about them on the news or something. It's like, what? I just told you you're more yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. They get the short man complex when they find out there are more.
Right.
You know what I mean? And gotta fight everybody. Everything's a war and a battle with them. Yeah.
So people just get fresh from McDonald's and it's like you wanna like show them knowledge yourself and say,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like it's not gonna work out, you know what I mean? They have to finish their Big Mac first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then they have to, not want to go there.
Yeah.
Then you can come with national.
Then we could talk about something.
You know what I mean?
Until that,
Facts.
it's not going down. It's not going down.
Like with that, any island person knows. That's like trying to bother your mom during like having the rest of us.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. You know what I mean? Wait till the show's done.
Wait till the show's over.
The show's done. And then go from there, you know what I mean?
Wyatt Harvey. Victor. Hey, Victor's still alive too, huh? Victor's still alive?
I don't even know.
Listen,
My mom made it still.
You want better, huh? Yeah.
She said,
I was named after everybody.
For real.
Victor's the man still.
Victor's the man, yo.
Every girl on that show.
Victor's the man.
I'm like, how do you know?
Victor.
Every time I was in school.
Victor. He's the man.
I never saw him.
Islam. Brother J. Foster Bay, while the assistant Grand Sheikh of Temple 25 told the Moors that the Holy Prophet told the Moors after a meeting, and most of the people had gone home, "Wake up, you sleepy-headed Moors. I'm going to take you up above the sun, moon, and stars, around the throne of the mighty Allah." Brother J. Foster Bay said that the Holy Prophet took them up above the blue ethers, around the throne of Allah. This happened in Detroit, Michigan in the late 1920s. Brother J. Foster Bay concluded with the words, Moors, your prophet was a prophet. And if he has all the remedies to cure you of everything, right? If he brought everything it takes to save a nation, if he's 5 times more powerful than prophets before him, you know what I mean? Then it's only right that in the mystical realm, no different than when the I can't remember what the tribe is, but then they have the ceremonies when they make the fucking stuff fly or whatever.
Mhm.
They make the hut fly when they do their little rituals, whatever like that. They put the high priest in the hut, and then the hut's just flying around the place. There's a lot more, right? Noble Drew Ali is a prophet for real. And during his time, there had to be spiritual happenings. There had to be stuff going on that people would have caught. You know what I'm saying? No different than when they talk about Yahshua and him doing stuff, and they talk about Muhammad doing stuff and Buddha doing things, make people sit back and, oh wow, he actually did that or whatever. You know what I mean? There has to be that acknowledgement, recognition, and especially having some of these statements. Drew Ali saying that he's gonna take you around the throne of mighty Allah. Taking you into different realms, going back to that could be even after everybody's gone and they're passing around the cup. They're passing around the goblet with the ayahuasca in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he had herbs already to make sure that, your health is right and all that stuff, then it's not far-fetched that they had some shrooms or some ayahuasca or something like that they'd be passing around. It's not beyond the reality. Because you start talking about blue ethers and thrones of Allah and you're around the sun, moon, and stars and all that stuff, and you're still in the body, more than likely you're on some tripping. You know what I mean?
Couldn't that also be seen as that Kundalini energy or something like that?
Yeah, meditation, whatever it is.
So the blue chakra was blue ethers, right? The blue
Yeah.
chakra is the third chakra.
Yeah.
Take you above the
Play above the blue ethers, around the throne of Allah. Right?
You can figure the throne because your head's a halo.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
in that halo, it's like a beacon net.
High level something
Right.
going on. High level something going on. Not just,
Physical.
some physical stuff. You know what I mean? And again, if they're saying divine and national, then it should be expected that there's some level of metaphysical activities that were going around. Moors weren't just, going to the temple and then that's it. With the prophet around. You know what I mean? With him around, there had to be a lot going on. More than just the national things going on. If he's a herbologist, if he's an Egyptian adept, been to the pyramids and came out the other end and all that stuff, then there's definitely some metaphysical stuff going on too.
He mentions how someone raised their hand and said they could do magic. Because he asked, can anybody in the room do magic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone raised their hand. I don't know if they mentioned, I forget if they mentioned the name or who it was, but the prophet said, there it is. And that individual was no longer.
Yeah.
Right? This is showing the power of the prophet. But the prophet wasn't trying to show magic or nothing. He was just saying, you're not no magician.
Yeah.
I'm the magician, if anything. Right?
If anybody's it's him. Especially if he's around.
Right, exactly.
After he's gone, then people can make all type of claims that they want. But it's interesting how there were no reincarnated Noble Drew Ali's when Noble Drew Ali was around. All of them came after. Like where were they when he was around? How come they weren't reincarnated in his face or whatever?
It also says a lot about people's mind at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because grown people out of nowhere talking about there's no reincarnated Noble Drew Ali. That says a lot about the mindset of people.
Yeah.
Instead of giving it to like a newborn child. Or
Yeah.
Not even a newborn child, just a straight grown 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm Noble Drew Ali. People are taking that serious.
Yeah. And then on that too, how is it did they know that the people were gonna fall for it, or did the people just fall for some dumb stuff? Like, did they know that the people were that low that they can say, hey, you know what? Damn, if I say I'm Noble Drew Ali, then everybody's gonna follow me or whatever. Right? You know what I mean? How'd they come up with the brilliant idea of saying that they're that? You know, were the people really on that level? Like all the heads are just looking at, damn, these people aren't gonna wake up or whatever. You know what I mean? And there's no profit here. We gotta keep them in the building. You know, we gotta keep them in the arena. You know, we're talking about millions of people. If we say we're Noble Drew Ali, then they just might stay. You know,
what if the prophet oral was just that powerful? Like, him just being around. Like, the prophet had what, millions? Millions following him, no?
Yeah.
In relatively a short amount of time, relatively. So, yeah, people falling for that, you know, having that type of mindset.
Yeah.
Kind of like me personally, I'm like, yo, is that how powerful the prophet was?
Yeah.
Is that how much energy he had? Like, him just being there was like,
just being there.
like, you can't even say that to people versus like him just not being there all of a sudden, like, that's acceptable. People look at that like, yeah, that makes sense. Smart.
And it's the same thing with his forerunner too. His forerunner Marcus, yeah. Millions of people following.
100%.
Yeah. Sister A. Brown L. of Temple 4 and 25 said the Holy Prophet said, boil your drinking water. That was the 20s. The Holy Prophet said one day all the property is going back to the government. Yep.
I feel like people don't see how deep that is.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the government, like all property going back to the government.
Yeah.
Like, same thing with the blacks. You know, you call yourself black, your property.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back to the master sooner or later.
Sooner or later.
All property.
All property.
Mm-hmm.
All.
Including chocolate. Child property.
Mm-hmm.
100%. What is vaccine? What vaccine comes from vodka? Vodka means cow.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who took that, it's like
Signed up.
property. You literally
Signed up for it.
like that.
Yeah.
Is this like the movie I was watching last night with Will Smith? I don't know if anybody's seen it, the Emancipation movie. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but I was kind of like in and out of it. I have to watch it again. But I noticed he was a so-called slave at first, and then the movie in the beginning it gives you a description, like, you know, these guys, you know, they're given the choice because slavery, you know, it tells you in the beginning of the movie, like slavery's a choice.
Yeah.
In the beginning they tell you, right? So they're free, but
Anti-Semite.
what I noticed is Will Smith is trying to run from the plantation and ends up working with the colonizer.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Ends up working with the colonizer.
Stop.
I don't want to read the movie, but
No, he wanted to run.
he wanted to run away from like
To stop working.
to stop working for the colony on the plantation. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So he gets away, and then they realize this guy's mastermind. Like he outran us.
Yeah.
And so they use their mind to trick him and say, "You just come work with us." You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He's not a slave anymore, but he can come work for us.
Right.
Or he's a slave still. Emancipation, for real.
Sorry on the Apple thing, but I don't know.
As a Moor, bro, I take it on a different level. I'm not even. I'm looking at the pieces from like the paradigm of like the Moor science paradigm.
Yeah.
This is how Moors look at it, you know.
Yeah.
How are you gonna be a slave and run that?
Just bombarded with too much slave.
Too much slave shit. Yeah.
Too much
slave stuff.
Personally, yo, the more mindset, I would be looking at it like slavery was really a medicine.
Oh, but take it in. In the movie, it wasn't the so-called blacks getting hung and killed. It was a European. You gotta watch this. It's very interesting still. A lot of metaphysical stuff in the movie.
Oh, that kind of clicks because it's like, yo, I was thinking about that with how the Europeans hanging the Asiatics, and you know, like what they tell us is like, we don't like to just hang a nigger or whatever. But I'm thinking like, yo, we're the ones that rode the line, right? And they were our servants. And like you just said about the Europeans are getting hung, right?
Yeah. Very interesting.
That kind of clicks where it's like, yo,
Like we did that
You're
before
saying
to
that?
them.
Yeah.
Like we did that before to them already.
yeah,
Yeah.
They hung there. Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at the whole hanging thing, like what if it was like, it wasn't all like that, it was really on some like the employees were hanging the boss. And then they were taking over the house now. Random thoughts, you know?
You already know.
Random thoughts.
Brother J. Blakely Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, I would like to save half of the people, but I am going to try to save a fourth of the people. That is when the fire comes at the end of time. All other Moors that heard the Prophet speak on this said that he said, there is just going to be a handful saved. I can count them on my fingers and have fingers left over. The 20s. And so we know that if he would like to save half, but is going to save a fourth of them, then for sure not everybody's going to make it. Even ones who we think that might make it aren't going to make it.
We had like 1 million balls back then, and when you look at it today, it's like, where are all those people, like their offspring?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing with it? Like, I always think about that.
Yeah.
They have 1 million followers plus. Where are their offspring at? Right?
Yeah.
And where are they, like, this is just too much waste of time.
Mhm.
Like they probably got a video of it or something like that.
Yeah. They got something. They got something on them. Sister M. Peyton Bay of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet said, before the end of time, I'm going to lower down the evil spirits and let them incarnate.
You can watch the news and see that.
Yeah, for real.
You just watch the news and see that.
Yep. Brother J. Blakely Bay said that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that the Grand Sheikh of the temple should go to the temple, hang the charter on the wall, say the Moorish American prayer when it is time for the meeting to open. And if no one comes to the meeting after he sits and waits for 1.5 hours, then take the charter down off the wall and go home. Brother G. Cook Bay of Temple 1 said that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, the only one that works all the time is a coolie.
That's facts.
That's facts.
Especially, I don't know about you, listen. I reckon mad factories, 100%. Almost only coolie people there, for real.
Yeah.
They'll take those 12-hour shifts. They
Yeah.
don't care.
They don't care.
They'll take
They
no
don't
problem.
care.
Who are you identifying as coolies, though?
Huh?
With the Hindustanis?
Yeah.
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 Well, you know, the original definition is actually, it's a gym.
Is it Jim?
For the coolie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they found it in some proper dictionary.
For real.
Is it Jim?
And then that goes into it too. Say that because they put that work in too.
So that might have been what Juali was referencing.
Yeah. If it's the 20s, because they would have been here already. The Hindustanis wouldn't have been here like that yet. The 20s.
Chinese were
Yeah.
They did a lot of civil jobs, like they railroad working on the tree and all that stuff. But they didn't have the stats either. Right. White, far from white.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like nowadays it's like, it's just a complexion. People try to make it into a complexion thing. But back then they didn't really care about it. It's more like,
The Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, Chicago is going to be your new Mecca. Brother Ikook Bey said that the Holy Prophet said there is going to be a famine in the land. That could be all the stuff. That could be all the stuff right now.
Wait, it was yesterday one guy telling me, yesterday or the day before, he said, brother, you know what's going on in Greece now? People are starving in Greece. I said, really? He said, oh yeah. In Greece. No, I'm saying over here. I said that to him too. So look about over here.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, over here, but over here, no, nothing like what I'm talking about. So if you think they're starving here, and then you see garbage sitting and food sitting on the street side, they're not starving. If you see someone drop a half a burger out there and it's still there, they're not starving. They're not starving here. But I'm talking, what he's talking about, they're starving.
Nothing.
And there are little islands. Greek is full of islands. A lot of islands.
But I feel like that adds into when the prophet said, this food here is just European poison. Added it into the whole family in the land. Like, you go to like almost any grocery store. That is, like it's probably not a foodie, but any grocery store, very hybrid fruit. It's all hybrid stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm thinking like that could be made in the lab, that could be part of the family. You see a lot of stuff with seasonal.
It is. There's food not there.
And you say this food is just European poison. So it's like,
I was reading a thing, article. No, it was a little clip of vegetable oil, and saying the majority of the products on the shelves have vegetable oil in it, which is the poison. 100%. 100%. Vegetables don't produce oil.
How you get vegetable oil?
Right. And everything, they try to say from the soy and all that, but it's not how this way. Yeah, the whole famine thing, the hospitals, I was coming on my way here, I seen a child on the highway, like a little, must have been like 6 years old, he was throwing up on the side of the highway.
Pull over to the shoulder.
Pull over to the shoulder so he can throw up, right? But I'm thinking like the vaccines, the food, everything going on. All that.
Causing lots of imbalance,
Because you was back up on there, into the baby there now.
Actually, right now in the hospitals is a big thing. I don't know if you know about what's going on at the hospitals.
Oh yeah.
It's like the sick children's hospital.
No place.
It's actually considering bringing back the people that they let go for not.
They can't make their mind up.
Even the bus drivers.
Can't make their damn mind up.
They come back, but they're not gonna pay them for the missed pay they didn't get.
So they wait till it gets to a crisis and say, okay, well, when you guys are vaccinated, just come back and work.
Yeah.
Because we have a famine going on. Like, it's literally going on right now.
No, these people just say we'll come back, but you're gonna pay us what we miss out.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay us the months
Exactly. Yeah.
Because now it's like not really doing nothing wrong, so you're gonna pay us.
Yeah.
Come back, but you're gonna pay us what we miss.
oh, that type of talk, they're just gonna end up on the agency or something like that.
Yeah, no. They have their union thing. So the boss thing is kind of different. And the union boss is not even over here, it's over there. So it's not like you could just bump them off and grab another driver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a small business.
That union is gonna kill them.
They have their union thing behind
217, the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I have come for the children and the unborn generations. Sister M. Peyton Bay said that the Holy Prophet said, I have fixed everything. I have stopped up every rat hole. Sister M. Peyton Bay of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet said, if I tell you that I am going to do a thing, I have done it already. Brother J. Gilbay of Temple 4 and the colony in Prince George, Virginia, said that the Holy Prophet said, I forgive you for everything that you did before I came. Now you are responsible for your deeds now. And again, 5 times more powerful than the prophets before, who said, they came and died for your sins and all that stuff. Well, you're responsible for your stuff now. No prophets dying for you people's BS anymore. Them days are over.
Yeah, a lot of people still stuck into that.
Oh yeah. They're holier than thou.
They're just looking at an easy way out.
Yep.
Because they will stab you and then go pray tonight to Jesus.
Yep.
They get fucking.
They would go skin out Saturday night and Sunday morning.
Putting their hands in the
Waiting. There you are waiting in the water at the club last night. The Holy Prophet told the Moors, I have come and taken away all the excuses. There is but one Allah, one Prophet of the Temple, and one Moor Science Temple of America. Sister M. Washington L. of Temple 43 said that the Holy Prophet said, one day there is going to be a holy war. Sister A. Brown L. of Temple 4 and 25 said that the Holy Prophet said, some of you Moors are going to throw away your name just for a morsel of bread. Some of you Moors are going to throw it away just for a morsel of bread.
That's like what's going on in California. They're trying to, the state in California, they're trying to give the blacks the reparations and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, when I heard that, I'm like, is there going to be any more that are proclaimed and declared that they're going to be like, like $250,000, like, my last name is Robinson, you know what I mean?
They'll give it up, yo. Morsel of bread. I might even 250,000. Man might say a loaf. Just give me a loaf and I'll be Negro.
You know what's crazy? That goes back to what you were saying earlier, with the whole free national the character and standards.
Yeah.
Because again, I was joking with bro the other day saying that, let's be real. If a bunch of our people in our lower self were to get $250,000, let's be real, most of that is not going into our community. You know what I mean? That's going to Gucci, Louis, you know what I mean, or Johnny Dang or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to a business. You're not gonna see a whole bunch of stores pop up in the community.
That's part of the reason why I never cared about the whole idea of reparations on its face, because it's like you need a plan after that. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's give us the money. It's like, can you what? You guys are gonna need a city in place. Like,
Right.
Just with some nice shoes. Wash it, you know what I mean? You have a car and be back in debt next week.
That's what the prophet said. If you don't give it to me, it'll burn up in your pocket. You'll be crying, going, what the hell? That was my fiat at.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
So that's why he says the program, right?
Right.
You can humanity presented it to the press, to the Congress, to the president, to the governors.
Yeah.
And he's ahead of them, they're way behind. They're like, where the fuck did this guy come from? So flush. Like, does anybody have like a fucking anything on this guy? Oh yeah, he's this guy. Well, we don't know like how, like we don't know.
He's a mysterious guy.
Not mysterious because they know, it's like they know, oh, he's associated with the priest or he's associated with Louis B. Anderson. Oh, but like they're not gonna know until after the fact.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're gonna be like, oh fuck. Right? But yeah.
Islam.
Did it already.
Yeah.
Did it already. All the people who are already gonna still even selling out now. He's already ahead of all those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was them, you know what I mean? It was them. Like he was the one, but it's the whole like generation who was with it, you know? Jesse Binga, all those guys. They're just like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So all of these like the money is the money that they're on from George Washington's time.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? That's the money.
That was good. That was different.
Yeah.
That was money.
Yeah. So then he said, you know, you're gonna get paid back for the work that you did during slavery. And he said, what was that? That was 1776 until 1856. Right? So what he said in compound interest. But there's already a debt on. So that means you gotta pay the interest.
Yeah.
You gotta pay the interest.
Yeah.
There's no option. Like you gotta pay it and you gotta pay the interest.
All these years compound.
Because otherwise you owe those people or you owe the Sultan. One or the other, you gotta choose.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Whatever way, it's still interest.
Well, the Sultan you can it's personal. You can say, well, we're gonna give you this, okay, fine. But there's no Sultan. Who's the Sultan? Duali.
Yep.
So you already said what it's gonna be, you know, to pay the people.
Yep.
Gold and silver belongs to the people and the people alone. Boom, that's it. From he said it out of his mouth, he doesn't have to do anything. Everybody else knows. And every other country is gonna do it that way. And they're gonna look at us and say, oh, you guys get it yet? It's not about having it in your hand. It's about just saying, yeah, this one there that looks like that, and anywhere that comes from any of these lands, that's ours.
Mm-hmm.
And we know how much there is. It's worth this much, and that's what we're worth. That's
Because we weren't even putting a value on it like that. That was ornament for us. That was like
Yeah.
decoration for us.
yeah, but they pulled it. It's already pulled out of the earth. You understand?
Right.
So you have to account for it. You have to be your accountant as a nation. That's what he said. You have to have national standards. So you have to count everything. You don't have an option because the war is counting. The war isn't bullets. The war is counting. If you can count and say, yeah, this is ours, then who can do a different count? If somebody else does the same count, then those one of you is fraud.
Right.
But they know, everybody already knows who the fraud is. The problem is we're not making no claim. Like we're claiming our heritage. Everybody knows that's not a claim on the present reality. The present reality is the account. You know? It's the account. Like this, what's the account? What's your account at? You know? Tell the world like that's our account. So all the physical pieces, like what he said, the property went back to the government. So gold and silver has to come back to us.
Was government speaking?
Yo,
Their stuff is their stuff. It's like that's belongs to the government, the chair, the vehicle, but the gold belongs to the land.
Right.
The gold and the land and people, they're all one, right? Your body is the earth. Right? And the thing is, he said when the European leaves, we'll probably get to it, but the European leaves the gold.
Mountains of gold.
So gold goes in veins. So what's a vein? What's happening in a vein?
Strange.
Exactly, things are moving. It doesn't stay still. It's magnetic. It's one gold, silver. Gold is the most magnetic material in our element. It's moving. It's always moving. So what's out there is just make the account because they haven't seen even a fraction. That's what he's telling us. He's telling us, don't worry, when they leave, the magnets, it's gonna come up. It's literally gonna
Yeah.
come up.
Yeah.
The stuff is moving all the time. It just moves slowly and it shifts. We move fast. We're human beings.
Mhm.
The earth is moving. The elements are moving. The gold, the silver, those things are moving in veins. Yeah.
Islam. Oh, go ahead, man.
No, you saying that? I was like, yo, because I remember hearing that, yo, you can't patent nature. No? And then again with the whole, everything's going back to the government. Same thing with the fiat. You know what I mean? Everything's going back to them, like you just said. Gold stuff is coming back to us. And then even saying that gold and silver belong to the people and the people alone. And I am kind of putting us under like natural human status, which is way more than what said, you know what I mean?
That's it.
You're saying 70 kilowatt.
Because the thing is, the rest of the world, even though they know we're Moors, it's like
Yo, man.
de facto.
You got the message?
It's like they put a barrier, you know what I mean? They put a stop on it. So it's like a gray area now. And even though, yeah, they want to deal with Moors, the de facto has this hold, right? They have these bonds. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, as natural beings, that automatically is the equivalent of being a Moor, right? Because that's those the original natural humans, right? You already said that ones who went out and enslaved the wild beasts of civilization could come in. Boom, that's right, mothers and fathers of civilization. So it's like that status is always there. You know what I mean? And Mother Nature, this is the hints that he's giving us, that Mother Nature is gonna force it on the world. If the world, like you said, if they don't follow my program, then the worst is yet to come. It's an ultimatum. It's like, yeah. So if they could get into the Moorish paradigm to save themselves, then that would be wise for them to do that. But they're not being honest. They're not telling the people what's really going on. Like in an ultimatum, they actually have a choice. They can save themselves, and they're not telling the people.
Who can save themselves?
You already went to them. He said you could use your ultimatum.
Oh.
No,
You can follow my program.
I'm taking it with me.
President.
taking it
Follow
with
my
me.
program, or the worst is yet to come. Right?
I'm taking it with me.
That's what he said. But it's not. It wasn't for them at the time. Because the ones at the time, like I said, they got caught, so they agreed. They didn't argue with me. He said, I went to the president and he gave me the flag. So he was telling us, this time is one thing, is the future. Corporate presidents and the corporate structures, they have to decide only because they took over de facto by force.
Right.
It's not like there's the de jure operating at the same time. It's just the de facto. So they.
And you did say a divine warning, from the prophets, all nations.
A warning, exactly. It's a
All
warning.
nations, not just like.
To all nations who are living here, because this is its own geography, its own tectonic plates, its own. You understand things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the prophet was right when he said that. I did more than you think.
Yeah.
Even that, for the nations, my message was universal. He came to the Americas. And there's always, like, especially in my research, but a whole bunch of words always say that it's here where I started. I went, right.
Yeah.
So with that type of mindset, it's like, yeah, my message is universal.
Yeah.
And I come to save the nations.
And we'll close out with this one. Just as you mentioned it, the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali said said the following things at the first convention in 1928. The garment that I have on represents power, and if you obey my voice, you will have power with me. I am going to free you, though it is hard, because of your mixture, which brings about many different spirits. When you fail to hear my voice, you are lost. It is against the law to stand up in any audience intoxicated. The leader is not to stay out all night giving earnings away to someone else. You who are heads of temples, it is easy for you to destroy the influence of the temple. Now lace up your shoes and get right. You stop figuring out your way, how your salvation shall come. Just follow me. You can say one thing, Moors. You have made a start for the kingdom. If you want success, you must follow the prophet. Husbands, take care of your wives and families. Wives, keep your homes and children clean. I have done more than you think. I want you to help me by your good deeds of living at home and abroad. It is through your good, not with your lips, trying to be in the front seat in everything, always standing in my face. Moors, be careful of your steps. Leaders of temples must be careful how they walk. They must be an example. I am not asleep. It will take you Moors a long time to find out what I have done today. When you all go home, don't start no stuff, for I will be right there listening at you. The Holy Prophet Noble Juali also said, this is no social organization. It is a divine and national movement. By you being born here doesn't make you a citizen. One must proclaim his nationality to be recognized as a citizen. Look what I have on. Now this was handed to me by the government. It represents the royal prince. Sister M. Whitehead L., and who was the Holy Prophet's aunt, said that the Holy Prophet said, I have mended the broken wires and have connected them with the higher powers. Islam. So just like you said, he did more than we think he did. We can think whatever we think he did more than that. You know? And as much as we've researched and studied self and outside of self, you know, we know that there's teachings with regard to Noble Juali that hasn't even been touched yet, haven't even been looked at yet, because everything was brought, and there was a definite campaign to get him, his teachings, and whatever else that he brought out of circulation, so that the Moors can't figure this stuff out, which again goes into why the unity part of it is important, so that we could have all these different minds focused in one direction. And everybody else, that's how they're getting it. They have all their different minds focused in one direction.
That's why I said, don't start no new stuff when you go home.
Don't start no stuff.
Sorry.
Right there. As soon as you start some stuff, you should be able to look somewhere and see Noble Juali looking at you. And it's supposed to be immediately, it's supposed to fix up. So you're doing some BS, supposed to be able to look somewhere and Noble Juali is looking at you. You know?
You say there's nothing new under the sun, right? Your Papa laid it all out. He did it all.
Yeah.
So for you to go and say, oh, you know what, we should start at, I don't know who else, I think it was another Moor, I don't want to mention no names, but you mentioned a certain name of a certain group that started a group within the Moor Science Temple of America, right?
Yeah.
And he said, why would you start a group within the Moor Science Temple of America when you can just be Moor Science Temple of America?
Just be Moor Science Temple. Yeah. Yeah.
And then asking for a charter.
But again, going back to that same thing, that, you know, like the idea is that you have free reign because it's your birthright. You can do whatever you want. You want to start an organization, go right ahead. You know what I mean? But if we haven't fully exercised what Juali brought, you know, if that hasn't been exercised to its full capacity and fail for us to say, okay, let's start this other organization over here. You know what I mean? The only thing that went wrong is that some other people sort of took it over. And then what they're doing and their activity is what is being looked at as, well, the Moors don't this and the Moors shouldn't this and the Moors. So since the Moors haven't done whatever, I'm gonna go over here and do whatever. Which, yeah, you have that right. But if you go over there, do whatever, and one, you don't have profit up front over there, wherever it is that you're going. If you're not taking the principles with you over there, if you're not taking the holy book over there with you, if you're not taking the oral statements and Moorish literature and all that stuff with you over there, whatever you're starting, stuff is not gonna last too long. It's not gonna last too long. Yeah, it's not gonna last. It might look good, might sound good, but eventually you're gonna realize that the only sole foundation is Moorish Divine National Movement and everything under that. Putting Juali up front. So just a reminder, next Sunday, no temple next Sunday. We got our solstice walk. Um, solstice walk at the Beltline Trail, Young Street and Merton Street. We're going to be meeting at the parking garage on Merton Street, closest to Young. Meeting at 10:30 a.m. Walk from 11 to whenever the walk's done. It might be an hour and a half, whatever the case is. December 18th, next week Sunday. Huh? Yeah, next week Sunday. And then Juali Day, January 7th, 25 Cecil Street, Steelworkers Union Hall. And we got a good lineup for Juali Day this year once again. And we're putting it out there again for all the Moors near Canaanland to be in attendance. We already heard that some Moors from out east are going to be there. So if the Moors from out east could be there, then Moors right here shouldn't have any issues with getting to their Juali Day celebration. And of course, for the online people, you could email canaanlandguide@gmail.com to get on the list for Noble Juali Day. Send an email. I want to be on the list, and this week we're going to send out. Yeah, for the out of towners people. We're going to send an email out this week. Just finalizing all the info for that. Any other questions, comments before we close out? Oh yeah, and don't forget we're going to be doing we got our food going on again. So weekly we'll be having our sandwiches and
maybe desserts coming as well.
and maybe some desserts on the way. We're testing out the desserts right now. So we'll have a little something going on Sundays in house.
Say that boy, that boy's testing the food.
Listen, bro,
No, the fat boys.
The fat boy rule number whatever. Don't talk about another fat boy.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through our holy prophet.
Through our holy prophet.
Noble Juali.
Noble Juali.
Islam.
So what are you saying this? You're carrying this to you soon?
You might come get it.
What?
He might come get it because he has to go to the studio, I think.
Oh, to your place.
Islam Moors
Bro, do you think it would be wise to get like a little, maybe get like one of those portable